What is good, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the WeSportin podcast. And today I got former NFL player and former LSU Tiger, KJ Malone. KJ, what's up, man? How you doing today, man?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. So, KJ, I a couple questions to ask you off the bat, man. I know you were part of that great LSU team that went to the championship. What was that environment like? I mean, what was the emotions of just sitting there watching LSU take it?
The national championship game, the environment was, it felt like a movie the whole time. Just like being on the field. Everything when we went to halftime, we were down maybe by like a touchdown or something.
Yeah.
And I remember Joe Burrow, the whole time walking up and down the sideline saying hey, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. Just come on saying that. And the whole time, whole mindset, I was this literally feels like a movie.
Yeah.
But when we finally won the national championship, because being a player there, that was the ultimate goal as a player, but to be able to do it as a coach and help the players win that was all a big highlight in my life.
Yeah, and I also saw as well. Next question. I also saw you you were playing. I saw one game against Ole Miss. You guys were playing against Ole Miss. I remember it was everything back in 2016. Leonard Fournette, when he had that amazing block, when he hit that amazing truck on that one. I mean, how was it like working with guys like Leonard Fournette, Darius Geis? I mean, what was the what is their kind of work ethic, and how was your work ethic working with them as well?
For being a lineman blocking for those guys, it made our job easier. I think when Leonard was there and Darius was there, we were ranked first in the AP O-line and then second the next year. But we were literally making a little hole and they shoot that gap. So just getting the feedback off of Leonard, because he's a great leader. You saw him during the Super Bowl,
of course,
winning.
Yeah. Congrats to him winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and just him when we were running the conditioning test, just telling us to keep going. It was good to have a leader like that who was balling on the field.
Yeah, that's amazing. The type of player that those guys are. They're true leaders, and obviously with Geis with his situation, and then with Leonard Fournette and his scenario. It's whatever happens, but good job for Fournette, and great for you as well. So I know your father is Mr. Karl Malone. I know that for a fact, one of the greatest NBA players of all time. Now, what kind of motivation has he given you as being an athlete yourself? What is the motivation that he's given you?
He just, the typical never give up, and when you start something, to finish it. So I remember coming out of junior high, and that's when you start getting taking sports serious. And he was all right, you can either play basketball or football. I don't want you to do both because I want you to focus on one. And that's why I decided to do football. And he supported me 100%. He actually didn't want me to play basketball, surprisingly, just because he thought it would be a lot of pressure, which it would have been. And he still works out today. He's probably my weight right now. Me and him work out every day together. Yeah, and just seeing him how he is right now, that gets me motivated still today.
Yeah, for you being what, 6'4", right? You're about 6'4", somewhat like that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And Masha's, like I said, in Karl Malone, great athlete, obviously, one of the greatest of all time. And obviously, him being your son and all, you obviously have that motivation to be, you want to make your name. You want to be, the best to your abilities, which is pretty cool. So now I also did see that you were in the NFL as well. I know that you took some time and you really, with your knee injury, you weren't all big on, you wanted to kind of go to your degree instead of being something, something else.
Yeah.
So, being you were on the Houston Texans, how was that atmosphere being with Houston and being, obviously you were coached under Bill O'Brien, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how was that, because I think a lot of people do want to know how was being coached by Bill O'Brien. So,
well, he's a great guy. And just the environment there, of course it was hard nose because he's an old school coach. So our practices would be in helmets and literally hats sometimes, and we'd be on full speed. So that's you can tell that's where you kind of got the JJ Watt mindset. We would be up there as rookies at 5:30 in the morning to do tape and stuff, and JJ Watt would be in there playing ping pong before his workout.
Wow.
So you as a rookie, you see all right, there's a vet who's making all this money and he's up here at 5:30 greeting us, introducing himself, and then going to work out. So it's you see the environment there. So I I thought it was a good environment when I was there, but of course, like my knee injury, like put me back. But like just all the stuff that happened these past years, like I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So how long were you on the Houston Texans for? How long?
I mean, I was there for the rookie camp and then a little bit of the main camp, just because I came off my patella tendon tear.
Oh wow, yeah.
And it was kind of like a weird recovery because I tore it Florida game my senior year, and I was out the whole rest of the year. But then I wanted to come back for the Notre Dame game since it was my last game.
Yeah.
And then I kind of tweaked it there, and then I got invited to the combine.
Yeah.
So I went to the combine, and like, of course, at the combine, they're like yanking on your leg, and they're like, "Does it hurt?" I'm like, "No," but inside, I'm like dying. I'm like, "This hurts bad."
How was the combine? Actually, what was your time in the combine? Let's see. What was your 40 dash in the combine?
It was bad. I think it was like a 5.3. Wow. It was, but that's when
that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, I was weighing in like a good like 325.
Wow. So, what was your how many reps did you get? Bench reps?
Well, there I hurt my shoulder, so I attempted the bench rep. I only did 15, but at pro day I did 23.
And I know for a lot of people, as the draft is coming up, I think a lot of people like, as yourself, you were a part of that NFL draft experience. What was it like, on the draft? Because I did see you were undrafted, but I mean, were you receiving calls from teams that wanted you, or were you?
Because you receive calls throughout the whole draft, and I know like one team that kept on calling me was Green Bay. So that's what the place I thought I was going to go, because they come and say, "Hey, like we're going to take you in the 4th round," and they're like, "Oh, hey, we had to take this guy, but we want you. Like, we're going to take you." So like, I mean, like, yeah, you get your hopes up, but at the same time, you're like, okay, like I still got blessed. I'm an undrafted free agent, but I still got picked up by a team. So I mean, you got to look at there's the negatives and positives, but I mean, just to be able to like get an opportunity to like go to the combine, yeah, it was. I mean, the combine was like it was a long process, but I'm fortunate to go there. But like when you see like these athletes running 4.2s at the combine, like they're freak athletes, because the stuff we do leading up to the combine is just like crazy. Like we're up every morning at 5:30 and we don't get back to the room until 11, and then we have to go perform at the end of the week.
So I know one of your I know you're probably friends with wide receiver Jamar Chase, who's going to be a future NFL in the NFL, hopefully a high pick. Now I'm assuming you played with did you play with Jamar Chase, or did you?
No, but I coached him.
You coached Jamar Chase. Wow. And I mean, what type of an athlete is he? Coming into the NFL. What is?
He's a freak. I mean, you saw he's a freak athlete. Like, I remember he had like it was like a download day in the weight room, because I was a strength coach. So it was a download day, and he put like, I think it was like 275 on the bar for squats, and he was just repping that. And I was like, we're like, oh my God, like this is insane. Like he just got done running the conditioning test the day before. He's in there repping 275 on like a download day, just like easy.
Jesus, I mean, like, that's you obviously worked with Justin Jefferson as well. A lot of
I mean, they were like, because I was a strength intern, so they put me with the receivers.
Oh, nice. So I gotta ask. Let's settle a debate right now. Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson? Who are you gonna take?
Oh no, I can't do that. I mean, they're unique in their own way. I'll say, like, when it comes like flashy and like the crazy, like insane catches, I'll go with Justin. But like a player who's gonna be like physical and like beat you to the ground, that'd be Jamar.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I mean, you see it in Jamar. Jamar's like stocky. Like
he's massive. He's a big dude for a wide receiver. He's a big dude. He's gonna have a lot of problems. So another question here. Now you were coached by Ed Orgeron, correct? You were coached by him. Now, I know in interviews, and he's one of the most funniest guys I've ever watched in an interview. I know you maybe watched one of the interviews where he was like yelling at the players about that. What kind of a coach was he to you, mentor-wise, as a football player, being a football player yourself? What kind of what kind of attitude did he have towards you, and how did he have against the O-line? How did he help you in your career?
Oh, I mean, like he was definitely a great motivator for us, because like he would come in before. I remember like the year he got the job, we were playing Ole Miss, and he comes into the locker room, and he had the bad pass from Ole Miss, like they fired him and everything, so he was fired up for the game. He comes into the locker room right before we run out, has a Red Bull, and he opens it, chugs it, and then cracks it on his head, and he's like, "Let's go!" And everybody's like, "Oh hell yeah!" Like, so
wow.
He was like outside of like on the football field, like he was a great guy to talk to, like because I mean we're up there every day, so he's pretty much like our second dad when we all go down there. So like he definitely was like a player's coach.
Yeah. Yeah. I just have a couple more questions for you. If you're all right with that, I have a couple more questions for you. So, obviously you worked with Joe Burrow, or you were with Joe Burrow. What type of player do you see him like in the NFL? How far could you see his, ceiling be in the NFL, working with him? And
yeah, I mean, just seeing what he did at LSU and how he turned that program around and how like people like went to him, and like you see it in the NFL, like his rookie year, like he got hurt. But at the same time, like the stuff he did when he was playing was like unbelievable for a rookie quarterback.
For a Bengals team who has not trying to be rude, but the Bengals team that has a pretty horrendous offensive line. Poor guy.
Yeah. And the receiver core isn't that good. And he made it by ends minute. Like, but I mean, I think he's gonna have, if he like stays healthy, he's gonna have like a good career.
Yeah, that's great. Now we got to ask, because I know you're a big guy. So NFL comeback, do we see it happening, KJ, or what? Come on, let's be honest.
Oh no! I've already lost 85 pounds. I took all the lineman weights off.
Oh man!
And now I'm actually about to take over the family business. I'm doing cigar and alcohol right now.
Nice. Now you might have to send me up some cigars, even though I'm a little underage.
So our cigars were the one Joe was smoking after the game.
Oh no! Oh really? Where he was with the famous picture? Actually, it's so funny. That was my screensaver for like on my phone for about a good 3 months, and I just thought that was the most badass picture I've ever seen in my entire life.
So I mean, it was a funny story. So like before the year, the D lineman Tyler Shelvin. He came up to me. He's like, "Hey coach, like we go to the Natty. We want to smoke. The D line wants to smoke your dad's cigars." So I was like, "All right." At the time, I was like, "Okay, like whatever." Yeah. So like literally the week of the national championship, it was like a Monday practice, and after they came up to me, he's like, "Hey, you got the cigars ready for after we win?" So I was like, "Oh dang!" So like I called my dad up. I'm like, "Hey, like we need like 150 cigars for like everybody on the team, because like if you just gave it to the D line, like you just start getting like people feel some type of way about it." So I was like, "All right." My dad comes to the hotel right before we leave for the Superdome. He's like, "Hey, here's your cigars." So it's like I'm carrying a big bag of cigars into the stadium, and like right after like the game, like I run to the locker room, get the cigars, and I'm like handing it out to everybody. I go to Joe, and Joe's like, "No, I'm good." Yeah. And then he looks around. He's like, F it. He's like, he gets the cigar, and then he walks out to the media, and that's where the picture came from.
Wow, that's that's honestly so cool. That's one of the most coolest sports pictures I think of all time, and I think that that needs to be framed in the LSU alumni or somewhere, wherever you guys have it down there. Have it framed, please. That'd be so cool. Yeah. So now my last question for you, and before I let you go and before we move on. So, obviously, being a former NFL player and all that, it comes a lot of, adversity and all that, and you learn a lot from being there. Who would you say you learned from the most about being in the NFL? I know you had a little short time, being in the mini camps, but obviously from being there, you do learn a lot. So who could you say was your biggest mentor when you were in the mini camps back in Houston?
I mean, I'll say like before I came out, it was Ethan Posick. He's with the Seattle Seahawks. He was offensive lineman at LSU with me, and him are actually roommates. And then he got drafted the year before I left. So I kind of was like always picking at his ear about how the like NFL life is, how's like the draft process, like what I need to expect and all that stuff. And I mean, I was in his wedding too, so he's like a really close friend to me, and he's like someone I look up to.
Well, that's really cool, man. That really is. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. It really appreciate it a lot, man. Really do. Right. Thank you guys for watching too. KJ, if there's anything, if you want to go follow KJ on Instagram, I will leave his link in the description below. So thank you guys for watching, and peace.